I don't know. I don't know whether to blame squirrels. I don't know whether to blame to blame some kind of climate change. I don't know what's going on. That raised my blood pressure. I almost frisbeed this laptop. We got an unfinished project. Howdy, brother. How are the kittens? Dakota's back. Dakota, those aren't Yankee jokes. I know you're not a true sympathizer. Hello again, David. Cousin Mike says, "Yay!" Yeah, I don't know. The internet here has been kind of acting up. My pops was having trouble doing some whatever he was doing on his laptop. And D says, "Long time no see." Yeah, it feels like it. You know what I mean? It was like ghost there for a second. I'm sitting here trying to talk to you guys. We talked about Red Dawn and we talked about Ghost. I think I'm just on a Patrick Swayze kick. Terrence Seymour in the chat. Howdy, Terrence. You're tying flies, man? Nathan's Mopar Garage is asking if it's unbroken. I mean, it might break again. I'll try. I'll try my best. Bobby Z 1964 saying the internet broke. I think I broke it, Bobby. I don't know. Yeah, that was annoying. Sorry, guys. But where were we? We had some folks asking questions. 47 says, and we're back. Mexican Spec saying, here's a technical question. Do I have to click the like again or will the old one transfer? I'd say click it again, but not twice because then you'll dislike it. All I'm saying, YouTube has been glitching on streamer chat just like that for a number of folks. They're trying to push their podcast thing, Olive. It's a conspiracy. Dakota just posted the link to his channel. He says there's a few of y'all I don't recognize. If y'all want cool old car stuff, here's a link to my channel. I would appreciate some new subscribers. That being said, guys, if you're not subscribed to Dakota, he's a badass dude. He does some great work. He's got some nice cars. He's very passionate about his work. He's very well read. Um, Younger cat too, so you can imagine in a few years he'll be working circles around all of us. 47 saying, I really need to change my name. 47 is weird. Does it mean something? I don't know. My name's weird, 47. Try walking around being called Ari. My full name's Aria. It's worse. It's not good. And if I ever have a daughter, I'm going to name her after myself. She'll be Junior. Dave Lewis is saying he forgot to check the net's fluids. There's like a small thing of coolant on the router. Chris Greenaway saying, Ari, my man. Rich GT350R is in the chat. Howdy, Rich. How'd the week treat you, man? Unfinished project just linked at zero. Mexican Specs, at zero doesn't have any videos, but he does have a great music playlist if you guys are feeling kind of angry. Mexican Specs saying, hey, you guys, tell me what you think an almost perfect 1976 Duster Slant 6.3 on the tree is worth. It is red with a black vinyl bench, the one in my avatar. Geez, I wouldn't know, Mexican Spec. Buff Del Campo saying I was subbed to Dakota's channel before his first video. Yeah, pretty much, Buff. Terrence Seymour saying, yeah, it'll be for next season as it rains every Thursday or Friday to destroy the river for me every weekend. Haven't had a clear river since the first weekend of last November. That's just awesome. You're tying flies, Terrence. That was a hobby I wanted to get into when I was younger, and I never really got into, which is probably good because there's not a lot of good places to fly fish down here. Up north, I mean, you go to Northern California, Oregon, Washington, all kinds of places, but not here. 47 saying I went through a phase where I was black pilled about just being a number. John Maroon was saying, no wonder the dude can sing, considering the name. It's one of those names, John. My son's named William. I was just like, I'm not doing this. I'm not playing around. I'm not giving you a cute name. You know what I mean? Everybody in California wants to name their kid like Sakara or Unit or something. I don't know. I just wanted to give him a real name. GTI Warriors saying, I put up my first video a few days ago, a small glimpse into my daily grind. If one of you guys moderating doesn't mind linking GTI Warriors first video, I didn't know you had content, man, but I'll have to check that out, Chris. That's badass. Unfinished project will be starting the bidding at $259. No, we got at zero in the chat. Howdy. Said he was at a air show today. Sent me a picture. He's sitting under a plane. Oh, poor man saying lot lizards like to fly fish. Chris Greenway saying, "Are you have cutthroat and palomino trout? What are you talking about?" Geez, Chris, maybe I'm unenlightened. I don't. John Marimba saying, "Yep, mine's Hank." Yeah, see, it's kind of you just. John, you got a good one though. You don't even have the H in your name. That's like it's more dignified. Brandon Custom Classics saying Tim Windsor broke 500 and no videos. I believe it. Tim's a real cool dude. He's always comes into chats, real positive guy. Gary Gordon's asking, how hard is it to start a YouTube page? I mean, obviously not that hard if I'm doing it, Barry. It's not too bad. You just, record yourself doing a little something, share the video. I mean, it could be anything, like cousin Mike, his channel is real versatile. It goes from him fixing cars, goes from classic cars to some modern cars. He's fixing trailers, he's fixing tractors, boats. He cooks sometimes. He's got his really good social lives with people from all around the world. It doesn't have to be super specific. I'm sure you could do it, Barry. Am I frozen up again? I swear I'll chuck this computer. This chuck this computer. I will back over this computer with my Apache and film it. I will. I don't find this entertaining. I'm trying to. Mexican specs and olive. I see people paying 5,000 for junk. Andy saying on the check your fluids, we had a safety day with the Model A clubs yesterday. 2 cars had no rear end fluid, and one had almost no trans fluid. It happens fast, Andy. You think it happened to me with my rear end? You know what I mean? My rear end. I'm like, no, I just serviced that, and you realize it's been a year and a half, and it's got a small leak or something. It can happen fast. Dakota's timeout said 191. I appreciate it, everybody. Dakota, you deserve it, man. You kick ass over there on those cars. You and your brother do some great work. Mexican Spec saying I'm almost to 500 from posting shorts. Great, they're great shorts, Mexican Spec. I feel like you should have more subs. Mexican Spec saying, Ari, how many Suburbans do you want? Mexican Spec, that one was so clean that you posted with 352, a little easier on gas. Whew, fun. Cousin Mike saying Ninong Landon supports everyone too. Yeah, Lapagan, Dikitan. How you done? Olive saying I'd be like wanting granny colors like beige or green or bronze or something and a floor shifter car. Much of the rest very flexible. Olive, I'm a fan of the champagne colors. I really am. Mexican Spec saying, all right, how about a 1969 Suburban made into a limo in the back? I don't know if I could make a lot of use of it, but that still sounds badass. Terrence Seymour saying, I much prefer saltwater fishing, but I live next to a world-renowned rivers that people fly in to fish from all over the world. So I feel like I should use the rivers. I give the fish away. Terrence, I like saltwater too, man. There's some pretty good fishing out here even inshore stuff. You get some really good eating. I eat the fish though. I'm a fat bastard. Dakota's timeout is saying it's super easy. Shorts get views. You can post a 15-second video of a jar of pickles and get 1,000 views and 2 to 3 subs. Oh, we got Spencer's food reviews in the chat. Howdy, Spencer. How are you, man? Shop Cat Industries. Howdy, Shop Cat. How's it up north, man? Mexican spec saying all of this is a column shot red car. It has been smog tuned with new tires and brakes, plus a gorgeous interior and factory rally wheels. Dakota's time out saying, but will you still have the film if your device is crushed by your patch? Yeah, I'll record it on my phone. John Raymond saying I work in tech, can't make it work half the time. I'm like a caveman with this stuff, John. I'm really, I could probably do some better YouTube and like cousin Mike, Landon Custom Classics. He's really good at that. He's good at working this stuff. I'm too dumb to even schedule my live stream, so it's like I know I just need to mess with it more, but I don't know. Danny Boyd saying, "Love the 352s. People diss on the 460, Ford 360." Dan, I was talking about it has a 352 as opposed to a 454. I don't know about anything about a 352 though. Mexican spec saying 350 was the only engine available for those Chevy trucks. Did you know every 87 Mexican Suburban was a manual? Mexican spec, I really like a lot of those Mexican specs. I feel like they're really practical. You know what I mean? I, I don't know. Yeah, that's probably why there's so many of those cars still around. Hey, Hubie's Garage in the chat. Howdy, Hubie. I sent Hubie a picture earlier. Alva, one of the, he's in the chat sometimes. Al, he's a real good dude. He brought me that book by John Lingenfelter. He brought me a David Vizard book. And he's just real interested in my 350 build. Local guy, found me on YouTube, but he's a really, really badass dude. And he went and actually scored a set of 882 heads for me for the 350. And he brought them by today. And I did a short video of it. I'll upload it tonight. Excuse me. But he found me a nice set of 882 heads. They're off a 79 Corvette, if I'm not mistaken. They got larger valves. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. And it, you know what I mean? I'm at a loss for words. I thought that was so damn cool of him. Because we were sitting there talking about it. He comes and visits me at work. And we're talking about it at the shop, and he's like, "You need to go get those heads." And I was like, "Man, I don't think I'm gonna have a chance this week." And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go buy some parts from that same guy." So I'm like, "If you buy the heads, I'll pay you for them, and I'll give you my 642 heads, so you got something to mess with." He went and grabbed them. He grabbed a nice 4-barrel intake. He grabbed a bell housing, nice aluminum bell housing. And I mean, I don't know. I'm honestly just thrown. I'm honestly thrown at how cool that was of him to do. Genuinely, like, what a bad dude. John Marimba saying the pickle jar niche is growing. Cheryl Alastra in the chat. She's saying Landon. She's got a heart for Landon. Cheryl loves Landon. Oh no, I'm frozen up again, guys. I'm telling you, if this thing freezes, I don't like destroying things, but I might have to. Dakota's timeout is saying, yeah, 360 and 390, same bore, but different stroke. My dad had a 360 in his truck, but it didn't run all that fast. It was stock except for the Motorcraft 4-barrel and 4-barrel intake. But that 390 runs. One poor man is saying, tree fitty. Hubie's Garage is asking, Ari, what were the Field of Dreams pictures taken? What city were the Field of Dreams pictures taken at today? Hubie, that was actually right here. That was in San Juan. I think I forget what the road is. It's right off of Camino by that underpass right before the freeway entrance. Just down the street from the country club. I forget what it's called. But they were real. I wanted to go hike and take a picture of them, but I'm too lazy to damn hike. So I just went by the side of the road and I took some pictures of the wildflowers because I was talking about them with Melissa's Beast. She's big into plants, and I wanted to do a video so she could see. Shopcat saying hockey tonight, changing leaf springs on the Ram 3500. That sounds like fun. That's some knuckle busting work right there. Mexican Spec saying, I'm actually going to collab with a fairly big YouTuber. He wants to do some Mexican Spec cars for a Bring a Trailer. He has 100,000 subs. Good, Mexican Spec. More people need to see you. More people need to see your cars. You know, Rich GT350R is saying I was 13 short of 500. Cousin Mike pushes me over in one live. Landon Custom Classic. Someone drop a link. And Cousin Mike's saying I put Shopcat over 1,000 yesterday. He helped me get over 1,000 too. I was like right there, 998. I kept losing subs, and he put something on. I think Ajax in tandem was my 1,000th subscriber. And that community is really great. They're always sharing stuff. They're real positive folks. Some of the live streams are in Tagalog and stuff, so you can't understand everything, but they're just real kind people. You know what I mean? Shopcat Industries is saying Oilers were down 3-0, and after the first period, Tide now going into the third period. Damn, that sounds like a good game. Olive saying many people love dusters, though. If it's nice, someone might pay what they can. This thing's freezing up on me, guys. I'm sorry. XJ David saying, I killed my ring and pinion last fall in the XJ. Finally, axle swapped the Dana 35 up to the Chrysler 8 1/4 with a track lock. Took a short trail today. All is well. I'm very happy. Glad to hear it, David. Very glad to hear it, man. It's a good swap. It's a solid swap. Should last you for a long time, right? This thing's freezing up on me again. Mexican Spec, Mexican Spec saying, Ari, if you look at my Instagram post, you'll notice I point out when cruise control is missing from these cars. Almost no cars from the 90s had cruise control when the US versions did have it. Weird. Hubie saying, nice score on 882s. Hubie, I got to thank Al for that. You know what I mean? He found the ad for me. He went and grabbed them. And it's a little bit scary, Hubie, because the gentleman who sold them has a lot of Chevy junk. And he has a C10 that he's trying to get rid of. C10. I got to watch myself. Mexican Spec saying, Ari, the 352 was the Ford FV just before the Ford 390. Chris Greenway saying, Ari, you have cutthroat trout, rainbow trout, and golden trout. Where am I here? At Zero saying Camino Cab. It's right off of Camino Cab. It's just right off of it. I forget what the street name is. I'm not missing too much here. I know it's not freezing up, so I keep talking, but the chat freezes up, so I'm unable to kind of get to some of these comments and questions. So I'm sorry, guys, if I skip anything. Dakota's timeout's asking if I'm going to port those 882s. I'm real tempted, Dakota. At least just clean them up a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. I got to take them to the machine shop and have them blasted and be blasted and magnafluxed. Because if I don't, I know that QB's going to judge me, so I don't want to be judged. No, I'm kidding. I definitely want to do something to them though, because between the short block I have and those heads, you know what I mean. I feel like it'd be a really good combo. It'd be something healthy, something viable, something healthy. At zero saying, I've been in the sun all day. I'm actually burnt. Everyone have a good night and a great week. Thanks for supporting my brother Ari. Great folks here. At zero, get some rest, brother. I know you hate the sun. Thanks for stopping in, brother. And hopefully I'll see you before too long. I got those stickers for you, and we'll chill out, man. Check your fluids. Mexican spec is saying, Ari, Mexico didn't have the highway system the US did, so most people just stayed put. That is why the cruise control wasn't on most vehicles. You can have the most fully loaded Eurosport Sierra and no cruise. That's weird. I guess, again, you know what I mean? It's minimalistic. It's less to diagnose, less to deal with. I guess it's Mopar Man 1978 is saying, XJ David, question for you. We replaced on our 96 Jeep XJ TPS, temp sensor, intake air temp sensor, and CPS. Still no spark to the plugs. Jeep sat for a month and ran before parked. And XJ or GTI Warrior saying, MM7 Mopar Man 1978. Are you getting 5 volt/ground to the sensors? Actually, David said, Mopar Man 1970. I don't know, man. Did you pop the distributor cap? Okay, Mopar Man did check the 5 volts to the sensors with the multimeter. Danny Boyd saying it's really nice and probably overcomes a lot of objections. Danny Boyd saying, I remember the spirit. I've got the spirit, but lose the feeling. Chris Greenway saying, oh, you got Golden Rainbow and Cutthroat Trout. Just got to find them. Yeah, there's a few places, Chris, but I mean, a lot down here in Southern California. There's a lot of reservoirs and whatnot. I feel like everything's crowded. You know what I mean? I couldn't find a place that I really liked fishing. So I mean, I guess I've laid off. But they're down here. I don't have gear to fly fish anyway, though. She's my freshwater rig is like an old Zebco. It's like a fishing for the sake of fishing type of thing. Action spec saying distributor cap. That reminds me, the mechanic had to put a new one on my Durango. Mine was cracked at the back of the engine. I would never would have known. GTI Warrior saying Mopar Man 1978. Give me a minute to pull up Mitchell. I don't have that system memorized. BNR Racing in the chat. He's saying, look at Richard Holdner's channel this week, Ari. What did I miss, Brian? Anything cool? Craig Chitto in the chat. Howdy, Craig. He's saying, is that Jeep a manual? Asking if that Jeep's a manual. Mexican Spec saying, Ari, did you notice that the red Suburban had no cruise? It was also a fully loaded truck. I didn't notice too much Mexican Spec. I was kind of just giving it a glance over, but I remember Mexican Spec. I think my friend's mom had a similar truck, but it had a big block in it. And she was just always complaining about the gas. And I remember they sold it for dirt cheap. And they told me afterwards, and I was just, my heart was broken. I was like, you really? I would have bought, I would have bought that thing in a hot second. I think I was driving a Honda at the time still. So yeah. I was saying that Richard Holtner has been doing budget builds, true torque daily drivers, and good street manners year after. Now we're talking. Mopar Man says that the Jeep is an automatic. Craig Chitto, did you think it was like a neutral safety switch kind of malfunction, or? Nathan's Mopar Garage is asking, BNR, are you going to race New Guy's Garage? BNR is going to have to race everybody. I mean, everybody. He's just, the whole No Name National is just going to be one giant grudge race against BNR. John Marimba says, gone fishing. Mom says, you got one like? That ain't right. I think it's up to 14, Ma. That ain't bad. More than I deserve, probably. Mexican Spec saying the funny thing is with the Mexican Suburbans in 1988, it was called a Sierra Grande, but had no Chevrolet emblems. Always mixing the parts. Sierra Grande is a way better name though. BNR saying Richard Holdner has been working with 260, 268, and 270 advertised camshaft profiles, dyno tested, power graph curves to look at, help your decisions. I'm gonna have to check that out, Brian. That sounds fun. Uh, Chris Greenaway saying I have brook trout where I'm at, 12 to 16 inches, best out of the little creek. Chris, I don't know if you've ever seen Landon Custom Classics. He pulls out some German brown trout out of up in Idaho, and those things are monsters, man. Just slabbed monsters. BNR Racing says, Mo poor man, I hate him. His name is Jabba from Star Wars. Brian, why so many grudges, man? XJ David saying, Mopar Man, 1978. My Jeep is a 95 ODB1. Chris Greenaway saying, want to shoot a whitetail, though. No whitetail here, Chris. Craig Chitto saying there's a sensor in the bell housing on manuals that if you smoke the clutch pad, it would get the sensor. Ethan's Mopar Garage saying, B&R sounds like a battle. You know, we're saying it's a mechanic's curse. Just feuding with everybody. I don't know, Brian. You're more than cool with me. But it's funny, you know, it's like a turnaround, there's another feud. It's BNR Racing. Like BNR, what is he doing? What is he saying to these people? Dave Lewis is saying walleye season is just starting here on Lake Erie. That sounds awesome, Dave. I want to see those Great Lakes before I kick it. Pretty badass. Chris Greenaway saying my father caught an 8-pound German brown trout, German brown out on the river, 15 minutes above my part of the river. Damn. Cousin Mike saying, Chris, those little brook trout are the best eating. Craig Chitto saying, adapted a 300 straight 6 EFI intake manifold to the side draft Weber running computer ignition and gauges. Jeez. Barry Gordon saying, I think I started a channel, not sure, got one video. I'm reading this right. It's Barry Gordon 1173. If one of you guys don't mind sharing Barry's channel out, one of you moderators, please just share his channel out so we can all subscribe and check out his first video. That would be pretty badass. Barry's a longtime supporter of the channel. Very cool dude. Very cool. Always has something kind to say about my old truck. Mom's saying Lake Superior agates. BNR saying I shut down my channel already. Videos, hide all my videos, spam threads, people blocked. Well, that's no good, Brian. People need to see you, man. You got a lot to, you got a lot of good mechanic, man. You got a lot to offer, folks. You should do prepping videos. BNR saying done participating in the No Name Nationals. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. I know, things are tough sometimes. I lack perspective. You know, I'm not there. I don't know who's saying what to whom or what, but as long as you're all right, brother. Bruce Greenaway saying, Dave, catching them in Windsor. I live 25 minutes from the coast of Lake Huron. Damn it. That's a cool area. I don't think I've ever even been that far north. Well, I've been that far north, but not that far northeast. BNR is saying 543 videos, hit all mine, had to. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. GTI Warrior is GTI Warrior is asking Mopar Man 1978 if he has checked the ASD relay. Is it getting the control side ground? Mopar Man saying, BNR, who are you talking about? Brian's just starting feuds all over YouTube. You know, I say No Name Nationals Mafia. Oh, come on, man. It's more like a summer camp than a mafia. Andy Boyd say teeny agates are so immature. Olive saying I used to live right by Lake Superior. Only found teeny agates though. I could have looked harder. That's got to be a cool place to see. Nathan's Mopar Garage saying BNR, you should just make fun of them too. Nathan, BNR's sense of humor isn't always always the same as everybody else. Like I said, I appreciate you, Brian. I know you've given me nothing but good advice, and you know you spent the time to find the specs on my truck and everything else. Great conversations with your brother, but I don't know what's going on with the feuding with everybody. Craig Chitto saying I'm going to try a quadrabog too once I get another hood. Quadrabog. Craig, there's one at work. I'm tempted just to rebuild, just to try on the V8 once I have it. Dakota's out for the night. What did I miss? Dakota is going to get some rest. I'm sure he's got to work all damn week, like any self-respecting young man. Dakota, thanks so much for stopping in, brother. I appreciate you, man. I know you don't have any General Grant memorabilia. I know you don't. It's not true, guys. Don't believe me when I say it. I appreciate you, Dakota. Have a great week, brother. Hope to see some videos soon. Glad the cars are going well. Check your fluids, man. Chris Greenaway saying I was interested in the No Name Nationals, but commuting out to that part makes me go through sketchy parts of U.S. No Name Nationals is an amazing premise and it looks like fun, but I'm not interested in building something. I feel you. Oh, building something for the track. Craig Cheeto says, great for daily driver. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Craig. You know what I mean? Kind of like that, like EFI without EFI, the Edelbrock effect kind of thing. I just thought it'd be cool. Al actually picked up a really nice stock intake with those 882 heads, and I don't know, it's a really nice intake. Just looking at it, like the way it flows and everything, and the size of the secondaries on it, it's like it would probably be just this real calm, smooth rumbling V8 until I step on it and just come to life, I Ethan's Mopar Garage saying, BNR, don't be scared. Olive's saying, I had more sensible plans for my Duster Slant 6 before I blew that up. You could still get Super 6 kits from Direct Connection. Olive, I told you I have the Super 6, right? And I have a really nice BBD thanks to Mopar Man 1978. Brian M saying, BNR Racing, I'm out of the loop, and I guess I'll have to catch up on what's going on with all of that. Yeah, pretty much. BNR saying, check out Richard this week, or you will like. I definitely will, Brian. I appreciate you, brother. Danny Boyd saying, I got to use my truck like a truck and haul a desk, 2 chairs, and some other stuff a mile or two. Oh, those are the best ones, best runs, Dan. Just a couple miles, not worrying about it too much. The worst is when you got like 30, 40 miles and you're sitting there tacking out that 6-cylinder. Mexican Spec saying, all of there are still 1978 to 1980 darts here, which are Aspens. They came from the factory with the Super 6 equipment. Chris Greenaway saying, you're helping me. You're helping getting me into night shift routine really helps us weekly switch into the routine. Hey, I'm glad to help, Chris. It's nice just to chill and talk a little bit before work. When I work nights, I'd get this crappy anxiety, just like, man, I'm gonna be there all night. Your body wants to sleep. Even if you rested during the day, your body's like, hey, it's dark. Get to bed. QB Garage is saying, I'll throw the grenade in the room. He says, drama's for the Karens. Don't give anyone any ammunition to fire back on you. Be positive and take the high road. All I'm saying, I think you mentioned that already. Yeah, it's a really nice. I mean, it's not super nice. You've seen those aluminum intakes; they're all bubbly and crusty looking, but I don't know. I was pretty stoked on the Super Six. I wanted to do something with the exhaust too, but Tony was like, "There's no real performance gain." The Dutra duels. He told me there was no performance gain off the Dutra duels, and ever since then, I've been saying that he slighted Doug Dutra, which is one of my running jokes with Tony. It's a dumb joke, and it does raise his blood pressure from time to time. So I should probably let it go, but I don't. Danny Boyd saying, "Oh, all right, my six don't tack out. I have a 270s, 280 to one. Oh, nice, man. You know, saying do your own thing, guys. I am. One poor man saying, did I get blocked as a mod? I have the symbol show up on my name, but I can't click or allow. I'm not sure what that is. Um, no, no, it says you're a standard moderator on here. Shouldn't be any issue. Danny Boyd said the body changed with ours, but the name stayed the same. Danny Boyd saying, Mopar man, did you put yourself in timeout? Chris Greenway saying, I love days, can sleep 9 to 6 a.m. as long all day long, night shift to sleep 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and feel like crap before my shift. Yeah, there's no way, man. I don't know. I tried all kinds of stuff. I tried doing the stupid wellness thing and being all eating better and exercising a little bit. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have a bunch of energy. No. And I tried the over caffeination thing with the energy drinks, and it seemed like no matter what, I'd crash at some point or another. Some people are real resilient. They get through it fine, but not me. Brian M saying J. Russell Finch, different. Yeah, J. Russell Finch. Brian M's a good dude. He's always in here supporting us. Always got something to add to the conversation. Specs saying Danny Boyd, actually, the Dart and the Duster were on sale here in 76, and the Aspen Dart came out in 77. There was no overlap here. He's Garage saying Mexican spec very good. You'll never have to worry about it. My parents always taught me if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say it. That's why I'm so quiet, Hubie. Mexican spec saying Hubie's Garage, after living in Mexico for almost a quarter of a century, I've learned that if somebody comes after you, you have to get them first. Just common sense. Chris Greenaway saying UTG needs another live due to how bad the chat is, 540 people, etc. There's a lot of folks in there, and it's kind of cool to see because it's popular. And I was seeing a lot of folks that I haven't seen in a couple months, and that makes me happy. You know what I mean? Because it's like I've been a lot of us have been participating in his streams for years now. So to see old names pop up, it's kind of cool. It's like Cheers or something. Brian, I'm saying I enjoy tinkering on things and as well, and working on my own cars as much as I can. Also, guys, I know I mentioned earlier, but it is Brian's birthday. So if we could all get a happy birthday for Mr. Brian M, please. And I'm actually going to sing happy birthday in the Marilyn Monroe fashion. I'm going to do that right now. Brian, have you barbecued anything cool lately, brother? Anything different? I've been craving some smoked chuck roast like nobody's business. Olive's saying, it's been one of those weeks for me. Between our arthritis and being irritated and such, getting under the truck has been very unrewarding feeling. I can imagine, Olive. That doesn't sound like a lot of fun. I'm sorry. I hope that stuff eases up and you get the motivation to get under there. Sometimes it's just not there. I feel you. I was dragging ass this week at work. Actually, saying I will mute that. All right. Yes, please do. And some happy birthdays for Brian. He's doing some country style pork ribs tonight. And I'm pretty jealous of that, man. That sounds damn good. Mexican Spec saying I'm jealous as well. There isn't a good rib place around here. Not here either. You know, are saying, by the way, I signed up to bracket race only with my 454 Gen 6 pickup. That's awesome, man. That truck is a beast. I'm jealous of that thing. Ryan, is it a 92 or is it a 94? Danny Boyd saying arthritis sucks. I oftentimes, when my boss asks me to do something undesirable at work, I'll tell him, no, I can't. And he's like, why? I'm like, I got arthritis. And I guess I shouldn't joke about that because I will someday. It was the same thing. He was asking me to do wiring on that CUDA that's at the shop. And I was like, Ray, he's like, what? I'm like, I'm colorblind. I'm colorblind now. And he's just like, just kind of glaring at me. One poor man saying, we have a barbecue pit place in Branson called Get Basted. On their sign, it says pork butts. I like pork butts and I cannot lie. Yes. Saying his truck is a 1997 with a 1999 454 I built late last summer. It's fast for a heavy three-quarter ton pickup extended cab. That sounds like such a good rig, man. I love those 90s trucks a bunch. My uncle growing up had, I think, it must have been between 90 and 92. And I don't know, I just got good memories of that, him ripping around in it, always having, I'd ride in the back and just have fun and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if it's had a small block in it or a big block or anything. I can't remember. I was too young. I remember him he brought out a B tank from that truck of acetylene, and he actually showed me how to solder as a little kid, some copper pipe. I didn't get to test the joint, but I think I did an all right job for a kid. Chris Greenaway saying, I'm 23 and don't have the ambition anymore. I don't know. Seems like when I was on the hunt for the formula, I was on my game, but now that I've achieved what I've been trying to do, it's like meh. Chris, you're 23, man. 23. I wish I was 23 again. I'm 30, and I feel like I'm like, I mean, I feel maybe I'm aging like a big dog or something. Like Craig Chitto saying beef bacon slop, 3 pounds chopped meat, 2 pounds bacon, chop up bacon, cook up, both seasoned to taste. Make the fat into a gravy with beef stock, great on everything or by itself. Craig, there's a place, a burger place down here. I'm sure you can look it up. It's called Slater's 50/50, and they got ground bacon in their patties. Unreal, man. Mexican Spec saying Chris Greenaway, there are many other cars out there. Wanting is better than having. It was a hard life lesson to learn. Barry Gordon said OBS Chevys are tough. Took mine all the way to the top of Maine and as far as Dallas, and she's still purring. They're great. I would love to have a 92. Mexican Spec saying you'll be 80 next week. Yeah, pretty much like that, huh? All I'm saying, I tend to get attached to whatever I get myself. Yeah, pretty much. Hubie's Garage is saying old soul. That's a nice way of saying it, Hubie. I realize I'm out for dinner at 5 o'clock. I really like champagne cars. Mexican Spec says bonus points if you know what movie that line is from. It's escaping me, Mexican Spec. I might know, but I don't have it on my brain right now. Are saying able to tow up to 10,000 pounds also. I'm jealous of that truck, man. What a sweetie pie. What a great rig. Excuse me. Hubie's crowd saying, wait till you start looking forward to the early bird specials. That's what I'm saying, Hubie. I'm there, man. If Westminster Cafe was still in business, I'd say let's hit the early bird. Chris Greenway saying, all I'm saying with me, but lately I felt worse and worse. Weekends are always trying to transition from nights to days, etc., making me less productive around the house. Chris, it's just a phase, man. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with what are our normal standards of our productivity and everything else. I'm sure you'll find time to do what you need to do and find a balance there before too long. And I'm sorry you're not feeling too hot, brother, but it happens to all of us. We get out of it. I say it pretty often, but shit rolls off and the truck rolls on. It doesn't have to be the truck, it can be whatever. It's kind of a figurative thing. You'll be good, brother. It's tough working nights. It takes it out of you. Ask Hubie. He was probably working. He's working nights when we were toddlers, man. Right now, I'm saying me and I are like big block and highly functional. That's why I was not crazy about the Viper Ram trucks. Oh, poor man saying I'm originally from Des Moines, Iowa. Iowa, miniature version of New York, has a place, Big Daddy's Barbecue. Back in the early 80s, Big Daddy was a short 300-pound black dude with a scratchy voice. Great food. Sounds good. He's making good barbecue. 300 pounds? You can trust that. Hubie's Garage saying Golden West Cafe, Ari. I know the spots. We can go, man. We can go. There's a Mexican spag. No, cool line. Hubie's Garage is saying easy money. Sounds like Dangerfield. Hubie's Garage says any which way but loose. He knows. Olive saying Chris Greenaway, I think there's also just a bit of bummer vibe going around. I'm feeling kind of dense this week. Tends to help to do things that are an easy win. Yeah, I feel you guys. Like I said, it was kind of a rough week. My boss had me doing a lot of medial tasks. I was kind of waiting on him. And I want to do a video tomorrow. I want to show you guys what he's doing to this poor 440. I almost don't want to do the video, but I need to know. I need to know if I'm just an ass or if everybody else has the same kind of perspective. Mexican Spec saying Hubie's Garage. No, earlier it was Harold and Maude. Mexican Spec saying I can recite almost the whole movie. Write it down. Add it to the list. Paper. Come on, man. Come on, man. Something right on there. Oh, man. All right. Well, if I forget Harold and Maude, I'm pretty dumb. Are saying, Brian M., all those big cubic inch gasoline engines by Dodge, Ford, and Chevy are desirable now. Potential in each. That's for certain. Chris Greenway saying, all of doing 12s and rotating week schedule. I'm quite burnt out. Yeah, Chris, that'll do it to you, man. When I was younger, one of my friends' he still is, he's a police officer. He's a sergeant now. And we were all going to school. He's giving us a ride to school. And I said, man, I'm really tired. And he turns to me and he says, you know what helps with that? And he'd been working nights. He's obviously, works long shifts as a police officer. And so I'm like, what do you do? And he says, what you should do? I'm like, well, what? Smoke crack. Gary Dryden saying, got to head to work, but I had to drop in and drop a like. Thanks so much for stopping in, Gary. You're right about that 383, man. You really are. I can't disagree. Mexican spec is saying BNR, isn't it odd? The more gas costs, the more big engine cars and trucks are worth. Mexican spec saying RE, they have a Jaguar E-Type hearse in that movie, but I like the 59 Superior more. Damn. XJ David saying, Chris Greenway, I feel for you. That's hard. Yeah, it's a tough gig. There's, I can't imagine having a whole lot of energy out of after dealing with that. I worked some pretty crazy shifts in my time, but 12 hours overnight, that'll get you. I don't care who you are. Charlie Rome was saying, Harold and Maude, I saw the movie in theater. Damn, I feel old. I lack perspective. I feel old even though I'm not old, so I don't know. Hey, boy, saying coffee. Yes, coffee. No, he said crack. Hey, we got Caesar T Rex in the chat. He says, "Que onda, Mexican spec and friends? SoCal was beautiful this weekend." Caesar, how are the blooms up towards you, man? I bet they're nicer in the desert. How are you, Caesar? How'd the week treat you? Is the rig doing well? People staying out of your way? Olive saying, I think a lot of people who are afraid of the big cubic inches going away, so wanting to get in on them was never really my thing, though. I always really liked it. I you know what I mean? I one of the first engines I worked on in the shop was a 454. I installed fuel injection on it and a bunch of other work. And just hearing that thing roar back to life after sitting, I don't know, I just kind of sparked something. I was like, this is it. This is what I need. Hubie's Garage is saying, I forgot about Harold and Maude. She was in another great one called My Bodyguard with Animal Mother from Full Metal Jacket. Our say Mexican spec turbo diesels are superior towing really heavy loads, but they cost so much to buy and maintain and buy parts for. Yeah, I think, man, I know I say it a lot, but if I was going to buy a newer truck, I would love a nice Ram 3500 with a Cummins in there. I'd be a happy man. Mexican spec saying my buddy and I took one of his hearses with a casket in the back to do a video store on the day Ruth Gordon died to pick up his copy of Harold and Maude. It was odd. Jeez. Chris Greenway saying, XJ, the work is easy. Just feel like I'm limiting myself to something I don't want to be now. What do you do for work, Chris? I don't think I've ever asked. I just know you work nights. Are saying Richard Holdner, his show brought the 1990s era 454 Chevy back in the limelight on YouTube. Brian, that's one of the only ones I've driven. My buddy's dad had a 94 Chevy Dually with a 454 in it. And I just love the way that thing ran, man. You just idle it down the street, give it a little gas, just did everything you wanted it to. Caesar T Rex is saying that the rig's doing well. It's beautiful everywhere. The hills are green and blooming. Yeah, same down here, Caesar. Everything's yellow. I don't know if you guys got more orange or purple up there. I hear it's insane in Central California right now, near like Paso Robles, the 46 and stuff. All kinds of blooms. Specs saying there was a 1985 454 Suburban here, which was a U.S. truck for sale. Nobody asked me about it. Maybe they didn't like the orange paint. How much were they asking, Mexican Spec? Dave Lewis is saying you need to sit in on a dyno session, 632 big Chevy, 1350 horsepower for a top sportsman's car. Oh man, that must have been great, Dave. Danny Boyd's never seen Harold and Maude. Caesar saying, yes, I'm in La Puente, but I'm off Moreno Valley working. All the side hills are blooming. It's pretty out there in Moreno Valley, huh, Caesar? At Zero and I used to work out in Colton for a long time, but we'd always hit the dump out in Moreno Valley. And it was always a nice drive. It looks like a cowboy backdrop when it's all dry. I don't know what it looks like now. Charlie Rome was saying, I used to play with big blocks, but now that I'm older, I play with small blocks. Yeah, I mean, I've worked on a few at work, a couple 454s, and it's kind of it's something I covet, you know what I mean? Because I feel like with a with that long bed half-ton truck, 4,200 pounds. It'd be like the perfect mill. But at 350s, the 350 I have is going to do me. I feel like that's going to do me really well too. Chris Greenway saying factory work plastics. Oh yeah, Chris, the factory work will get you too. Chris, have you heard the song "Plastic Factory" by Captain Beefheart? Because you might have to listen to that. Mexican Spec saying it wasn't a lot, Ari. Yeah, that Mexican Spec. I was thinking about it, and I saw that Suburban you posted earlier, and I'm like, well, why would I waste my time with a new car that I hate versus just getting, a more viable classic from Mexican Spec, or building one myself, of course. But you guys see my Dart? That's been taking me years. I haven't done damn thing. Chris Greenway saying those Halloween cars from Mopar Duster Demon with orange blackout package have a vinyl top and black and orange interior. Excuse me. Mexican Spec saying all of that car is 2 hours from me. I also found a 79 Bronco there, US truck, and it's cheap. A lot of money can be made on that one. Is your favorite beige and brown colors? Caesar is saying Badlands landfill off the 60 freeway has a beautiful view. Caesar, that's the one. That's got to be the one. I remember we went up there, and it's a pretty road going up. There's all those the tumbleweeds will like hover and float because of the wind through the canyon right there. We'd see all kinds of road runners, the birds, not the cars, and coming down from that Badlands landfill, you just see the whole valley, and it's like I, I don't know. It's like a Frederick Remington painting or something. It's just this perfect cowboy backdrop of this desert valley. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, guys. BNR saying a 632. Dave Lewis, a 632 big block is bad to the bone. Oh yeah. Caesar saying that's my office view daily. Oh, you're lucky, Caesar. It's nice out there, man. Plus, you're sitting in the AC, so you don't have to deal with the worst part about the desert. Hope our man saying the mod choice is still acting up. Won't let me click show or hide. Hope our man, let me see if I remove you as a standard moderator, okay, and then add as a moderator. All right, let's see, Mopar man, if that worked? Yeah, Caesar, I liked it out there. Working in Colton was cool. I liked going to Mr. Taco a bunch. You ever go to Mr. Taco? Mexican Spec saying, did you see any coyotes chasing the roadrunners? Are saying Mexican Spec, yes. I have pulled a 72 passenger school buses around the shop with my 454 pickup. Just idle and hit gas for 1,500 RPMs. Torque. Olive saying, yeah, Mex, that's a proper Bronco color scheme anyway. Caesar saying coyotes only in the AM. Yeah, you'll see them out there. They're out here too. I mean, they keep building stuff towards Silverado Canyon and everything else. It keeps pushing them closer to us. So everybody's cats are at risk. Greenway was saying, I'm a Mercury guy, but want one from the Big Six: Chevrolet, Pontiac, Mercury, Ford, Dodge, and Plymouth. Will I retire? Nope. Caesar saying, yes, Mr. Taco, cold beers. Caesar, those micheladas, I don't know if you drink micheladas, man. The micheladas they have there are so unreal. We like stopping there on the way back from Vegas. I like that place. Just delicious food, good beers, soccer games on, crowded as all hell. Not a single inch of the place is pretentious. BNR saying Mexican spec, they will pull a semi tractor and trailer attached. I'm sure of it. 454 big block Chevy pickup or Suburban. Jeez. Chris Greenaway saying you and your Cougars / mountain lions. Of course, the Mercury guy goes straight to Cougars. Yeah, they're a problem out here. They chase people down. It's a lot of the reason I don't hike with my son more. I'm worried about getting stalked. I'd be kind of pissed if I had to shoot a mountain lion. Wouldn't that suck? What am I going to do? I can't eat the thing. Hey, Kevin Clancy in the chat. Good to see you too, brother. How's it been? Anything cool happen? Mexican spec saying I was driving back to my office in Vegas and a roadrunner ran across the street. Went back into the office and told them roadrunner ran across the street, but when I hit the coyote, got paint on my car. All of saying coyotes come into this neighborhood too. Sometimes scaring them off might be a good option if they get too bold. Yeah, see a coyote, I wouldn't feel bad shooting. But a mountain lion, I'd feel like crap shooting. I don't know how that works. Cousin Abel saying, I come back and Primo Ari wants to shoot wildlife. No, I don't want to shoot anything, man. I'm just saying, if you hike around here, you might get stalked by a mountain lion. And if it's going to keep stalking you, you probably got to shoot it. That would suck because it's, I don't know. Chris Greenway saying 223 and a rabbit call will stack coyotes. Oh, yes. Hubie's Crouch is saying, don't forget. Oh, Golondrinas. Hubie's, that's right by the gym, huh? Well, the gym they just built. That's a good spot, Hubie. They're the beans there are so like perfectly seasoned. Charlie Rome is out for the night, saying, "Got to get up early. Good night, everyone. Thanks so much for stopping in, brother. Always great with you here. Appreciate all the feedback and everything. Hope you have a solid week. Be safe out there. Check your fluids." Are saying they should have never dropped the 440 Magnum engine. No, you're right. Kevin Clancy saying my 89 Bronco project update got my major power steering leak solved with a $10 seal kit. The major leak point was around a pitman arm. Jeez, that's funny, man. That's cool. It was a simple fix, though. $10 ain't bad. That's one of the reasons I like the Dart and the truck both have a mechanical steering, manual steering. Power steering leaks drive me nuts. And I know if I own the car, I'm gonna be too lazy to fix them. I'm gonna be that guy. Cousin Abel saying Primo Ari, but that mountain lion has hands up saying, please don't shoot as he gnarled. Opar man saying his Jeep's possessed. BNR saying 464 another torque monster. Oh yeah. Brian, we did that Cobra in the shop, the fiberglass Cobra with a real nice 460 in it. I don't know what the intake was. Was a custom intake, not a custom intake. Well, technically it was custom because they had to clearance the hell out of it to fit under that Cobra hood. Butchery. But that thing was healthy. It sounded so good, and I think it made like 400 horsepower to the wheel at the dyno. I don't know. I didn't ask about the torque specs. Yeah, I feel you, Olive. These garages saying they have a few. We used to call it Las Colon Drainer. Yes. Colon drainers. Uh, oh man. Burritos, they're a burning thing. They'll give you that old sting ring. Bound by wild desire, that burrito gave me a ring of fire. Chris saying 223 will do it. Chris, I think she wants the 30 carbine because it's quieter. 223 will wake up the whole neighborhood. Mexican spec saying, who the heck would have a Cobra with a 460? That is crazy. I mean, that Mexican spec, they had the 427s in them. It's a similar thing, right? BNR seeing 525 horsepower at the flywheel, are likely 550 foot-pounds of torque too. Yeah, Brian, it sounded healthy. I wanted to get a video of it, but I didn't really get a chance. Danny Boyd saying Fords use ATF in the power steering too. I use ATF that's how I top off most of the cars at work. Is just ATF for the power steering. So you're saying my caddy's not shifting out of first gear. Well, that's no good. So you're saying I just changed the carb on that. Now this 70 DeVille. Got Rich 220 Automotive Restorations in the chat. Howdy, Rich. Territory saying Kevin Clancy. Then the Rover world, we use that Lucas stop leak on the steering system. The one advantage to the Rover world is that they use ATF in the steering system. Yeah, the Lucas is good for everything. You know what I mean? I dab a little bit of that stuff behind my ears before I go out for the night. All of saying the way things are laid out, I don't want things bouncing down range that hard. Yeah, that makes sense. Danny Boyd saying Ford had a 223 inline six back in the 50s. Mexican spec saying the 427 Cobra was a very specific race car. I bet this guy intends to drive it on the street. Yeah, you know, I try not to gripe about my boss too much. He set the pedals up on this Cobra to where like you have to wear like a size 5 or something to drive this car right. I mean, I don't know what. I had to take my boots off and I was in my socks just to help him bleed out the brakes and the slave cylinder for the clutch. I'm sitting there like trying to poke my toe on the pedals, and when the owner was leaving with the car, I was trying. It was I was I was trying not to look because he's driving all like driving school like first day, and with that 460 like just this crazy like healthy V8 sound. It sounds like he's driving a race car, and him driving like that. It was oh my god, it was entertaining. Hubie's Garage is saying, I will never forget Barrows watching Barrows lift those 460 heads onto the block. The engine stand was a bit too high, and he struggled for a long time on camera. They are heavy. Yeah, I can't imagine those are light. If it's anything like a 454 head, excuse me. And this one, no, I didn't miss anything. Cousin Abel Territory is saying, Kevin, look in the Lucas catalog for some additive. They sometimes help with softening and helping seals to stop leaks. If that one doesn't work, then just bite the bullet and refresh the system. X Inspect saying Caesar T-Rex, a modulator maybe? Caesar, I don't mean to be like, I'm sure you have, but did you check the transmission fluid? Did you check your fluids? Kevin Clancy saying, hey, I use synthetic ATF in my 89 Bronco and no leaks. I'm happy. Oh, yeah. I tend to use whatever's around the shop. You know what I mean? Dexron, Type F, whatever. I just kind of, I don't know if that's unprofessional, but that's what I've done for a long time. Me and our Racing saying Caesar, likely a bad vacuum modulator or rubber vacuum line. Two is off or cracked. Territory is saying, Primo Ari, I use Lucas stop leak when I have the runs. It stops the leak, but not very tasteful. Mopar Man saying you could put a cap full of brake fluid. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Into your oil to help the seals from leaking. You know, saying GM Turbo 400 or 425 front wheel drive will not upshift any with a transmission vacuum modulator problem. See, there's Brian. Brian's got great information. Brian's helpful. Brian's Danny Boyd saying there ain't much room in the footwells of the Cobra, especially with accommodating a big with the big Ford bell housing. Yeah, no, it was like you have to wear like a size 4.5 or something to shift this thing. Mexican specs say people are getting stupid these days with the power in small cars. The Challenger 170 doesn't help anything. Hubie's Garage is saying, Caesar, I have a Turbo 400 that would not shift out of first gear at the drags. It was a bad governor. John Marimba is saying that my super performance Cobra had a tiny pedal box. Heel toe is pretty easy. I tend to turn on the windshield wipers in other cars when I want to turn. Stock is on the right in that car. Yeah, John, I mean, I'm not like that big of a dude. I'm 6 foot, probably 6'3" or something. And I don't know, like it was so funny. I felt so awkward trying to get these pedals. I'm like, this can't be fun. I assume it's probably normal for most people. You know, if you're not wearing a size 13, the pedals are fine. But Mexican spec saying all of the car has 1,025 horsepower, and I'm going to sell it to the public. It's small for an engine like that. Yeah. Caesar saying, thank you, Hubies. Yeah, I did check my fluids. They're a bit low, but didn't change after that. Yeah, that's the first place I go. I always try to check the simple stuff. I feel like it's just kind of out of hope. You know what I mean? Like, no, no, it's got to be something simple, but it usually isn't. Danny Boyd saying, hell, boots get in the way in a Fox Mustang with 3 pedals. Yeah, maybe I'm just used to my tractor truck. You know what I mean? I got space for everything. Cousin Abel saying, Aria would like to request you requesting content for my channel. What should I cover? Jeez, I don't know. I don't know, Abel. I can't even think of my own content. What should you cover? I don't know. What do you think is most unique to the Rovers? You know what I mean? Because I've never really dealt with much. Whatever you think is most specific and exclusive to your Rovers, that's what you should cover. Because there's not going to be a video on it. You know it. And that'll go off. John Marimba's saying my lower paws are 11 and a half and I'm 6 foot even. It's tight. Yeah. It's not like which is hilarious because there's that 55 T-Bird at the shop that I don't really fit in either, but I really want to drive that car. I've got it running well. I've got everything buttoned up and ready to go. And I want to test drive that car so bad. I was going to later this past week, but we just got a car that's in an enclosed trailer in the yard and it was kind of blocking my way. I cannot wait to drive that little 55 T-Bird. It's perfect. It's such a ridiculous vehicle. I love it. It's so perfect. Chris Greenway saying my car buddy's boss had ordered a 170 Demon, one of those 300 destined to Canada. Nice. Got a couple bucks. He's probably got a couple bucks. Huh? Danny Boyd saying, yes, my 77 F-150 would be a comfortable for Bigfoot, ironically. Dan, I told you I was working on a 77 F-150 this week at work. I've been working on it on and off the past few months, just little things here and there, but it's a 4x4. Beautiful truck. Kevin Clancy saying, Ari, I follow your advice and check my fluids. That's what led me to power steering fix needed on my 89 Bronco. Thank you. Rad, Kevin. That's awesome, man. You know, I should follow my own advice a little more, I think. I try my best, but I tend to find out the hard way. That's why I tell everybody, check your fluids. Yeah. Chris Greenway saying Mexican Spec owns some of the rarest of the rare. That's 3 to 9 Hemi cars, 23 darts. XJ David saying Mopar Man 1978. How hard do you think a late 90s 360 mag swap would be on an XJ? Well, don't they put 4.7s in the Rubicons and stuff now, don't they? As an able saying, all right, I know exactly what to cover based on that. Stay tuned. Nice. Caesar T Rex is saying, where is Hubie's garage at? Hubie saying, and check your air. Yeah, check your tire pressure. Caesar Hubie's down here with us. He's an Orange County guy. Well, you're in LA. I'm sorry. He's Southern California guy. Chris Greenaway saying size 13 and love auto cars due to my feet being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm with you, Chris. Especially, if you're wearing steel toes, they're bigger because they got to accommodate the steel toe. So it's like BNR saying, following the firearms chat, a close friend loves his 22 long rifle too. An instant down, but 22 zigzags. Terrible. Oh yeah, it's a perfect varmint. Perfect for varmint. Same with what Chris was saying with the 223s. It's a varmint gun, just the same, right? Depending on what ammo you buy. XJ David saying, I don't know if I could be okay buying a Rubicon and then driving it through a river. Yeah. Cousin Abel saying, Ari, my machinist is doing government work right now. We'll definitely need your machinist info. I'll text you soon. He's taking that long? Yeah, text me whatever, man. Jaime over at General Machine in Santa Ana. He's a good dude. There's a couple good shops in Orange, too. There's a lot of good shops, but I had great results from them. Hard. A guy here, XJ Mopar Man 1978 is saying XJ David shouldn't be hard. A guy here locally has a Jeep XJ, orange and white with a built 354 barrel in it. That's pretty rad. Cousin Abel saying there are a few shops here, but I need an excuse to get out of La La Land. Yeah, man. Like I was saying, if you're down here in Newport, I'm sure you got to hit the 55 to get back to where you're going, or maybe the 5. Either way, you're going to pass by Santa Ana. So, the shop is right in Santa Ana off of the 17th Street exit or Grand, depending on which way you're going. So, if you want to come by, Abel, I'd be happy to meet you and see you and everything, man. It's cool to have people come through the shop. It's kind of it's a fluster cluck. It's a lot of crap around. You'll instantly see why I wouldn't recommend the shop. I'm just kidding. All of saying, well, in the city, if someone's coming after you with a 22, run because it's someone that does things quiet for a living. Charles Bronson, you're a mechanic. Good old Charles Bronson. I'm going to do my next live stream talking like Charles Bronson the entire time. Pirate Greg says, this weekend I put an 8-track in my 74 Nova with a buddy of mine. Even more like a time machine now. Pirate Greg says, this weekend I put an 8-track in my 74 Nova with a buddy of mine. Even more like a time machine now. That's badass, Greg. Also welcome, Greg. Glad to have you. Do you guys have any good 8-tracks to start out with? Or yeah, I definitely want to have them looked over. I've got that horrible habit of just assembling things. I've got so much faith. I'm like, it's good, but I shouldn't be that way. I really should. Fire Greg saying, now I need to amass an 8-track collection. Danny Boyd's got a milk crate full of 8-tracks. I've got some good ones, good old country compilations and stuff. Cousin Mike, Landon Custom Classics. He's got some videos of him listening to his 8 tracks and his 8 track player and everything. Cousin Abel's saying, organized chaos is my middle name. I get it, Ari. Garage is a mess, but I like to know where every rover part is in my shop. My buffering? Oh, don't be buffering. I missed one from Mexican Spec. Am I still buffering? Is it worth talking? Or Greg saying, I have Kiss hotter than hell in my mom's old country. Glad I never threw them out now. That's awesome, Greg. The Kiss album is pretty fitting. Chris Greenaway saying, meanwhile, I own a 270 and a 30-06, looking to find my dad's 7 mag. Good luck doing anything quiet with that caliber. Yeah, that's for certain. You'd be saying there used to be a lot near the 5 and 17th Street off ramp that had some old old trucks in it and 2 fire trucks. Is that near your shop, Ari? It might be, Hubie. Um, it might be, and I think they might be moving out of that lot. A gentleman came up to me while I was parking my truck for work, and he seemed pretty bad off. He was fresh off the pipe for sure, but he's telling me that they were moving out in that yard right off the freeway. And he told me about all kinds of things they have. He's like, we got an old Navy crane, we got all this stuff. And I'm like, he's like, we have parts for this truck. Everybody says that. Everybody says, oh, I got parts for that truck. They never have anything for the truck. I need all kinds of, I could use I need driver's side window glass. All kinds of stuff I could use for the truck, but no one ever has it. Fire Greg saying Loretta Lynn, Hank Sr., Waylon. Oh, you're set, man. Caesar saying, I hope you get the adapter for the tapes that plays in the 8 track. My dad had it. That's badass. I've never seen one of those. Annie Boyd say mine are all rock. Mexican Spec says Coal Miner's Daughter is another movie. I know most of the lines. I was saying a friend of mine got into a bar fight here 30 years ago, got shot in the left leg with a 22 long rifle, exited by his nutsack, zigzagged out. Jeez. Mexican Spec said, I may be ignorant, but I ain't stupid. Mexican Spec saying, I never got into Kiss. I don't think I missed anything. Mexican Spec, God of Thunder. You ever heard the song God of Thunder or Black Diamond? The song Black Diamond? They've got some hits, man. Cousin Abel, Zero's good. He was at the air show today. I'm not sure where, but he was out all day, and then he got back, and he was in here for a second, but he tuned out. He was done with the day. I was saying 7mm Weatherby in case you're hunting Cadillacs. Sure, I'm not missing anything. Oh, poor man's talking about Possum Holler. Fair Greg saying, I want some head east. Ever been any reasons on flat as a pancake? All it's saying, Kiss is usually fun in a small doses for me. Yeah, exactly. Danny Boyd saying 8 track to cassette adapter. Then you stick a cassette to Discman adapter. Listen to whatever you want. John Marimba saying, ain't no caliber mixes well with one's nuts. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah, Pirate Greg, Black Diamond. That's the one with that's like sad guitar intro. It's all Dio. Out on the streets for a living. Yeah, Caesar's saying March Air Force Base, Moreno Valley, badass air show. Yeah, that must have been where he was, Caesar. Chris Greenaway saying, I named my car Beth after Kiss due to being built in 76 and Beth being released in 76. That's a good one. Danny Boyd saying I prefer Deep Purple and Black Sabbath. Deep Purple's rad, you know what I mean? You only hear the same few songs on the radio or whatever, but like you actually listen to one of their albums or something, Deep Purple was badass for the time. Sabbath is, of course, great. Oh, Sam, I was happier with Deep Purple before I heard most of the. All right, Greg said I can't wait to get that crank and old lockjaw. Chris Greenway, Scene Kiss. Oh, poor man saying Deep Purple Child in Time. It is also a song being played in the barn burner bus on the movie Twister. The Mechanical Spider stage. Shopcat says Edmonton wins overtime. Woo! Nice, Shopcat. Glad to hear it, man. I'm sorry, Edmonton wins in overtime. Badass, man. Very cool. Caesar saying Slipknot has a few nice jams. I never got into Slipknot. I had a lot of buddies that were like deep into that music, and I never got into it. I guess I don't either. They got, like you said, a few nice jams for sure, but I never. Hubie's Garage is saying Abel, I'm at the north end of OC near Long Beach without giving away my specific whereabouts. Danny Boyd saying first truck I ever drove was an orange 1970 F250 two-wheel drive with an 8-track and Deep Purple Burn was one of the tapes in that truck. Isn't that funny? You know what I mean? You can listen to music your whole life, and it's like having the album and then traveling to it so repeatedly, it gives it such a different meaning. Like one for me, when I drove across the country, I had the Black Market Clash. And I don't know if you guys haven't heard that album. One side of the album is pretty much all dub reggae. And it's really trippy and echoey and stuff. And just driving through the middle of the country with that on the middle of the night, just like you can't forget that kind of stuff. Chris Green always talk about the mechanical spider stage lifting up and down while playing. Paint Namer's in the chat. He's saying, welcome, Paint Namer. How are you, brother? Saying Speed King. Cousin Abel saying, cool, Hubie. We need to all meet. We need to one day hang out and do a live on Ari's live. Ari needs some help so he doesn't lose his voice. It does kind of sensitive. Or Greg saying Skinner to everyone. Skinner to anyone. Skinner to everyone. Everyone. I'm sure everyone here likes Skinner. Mopar Man saying my folks got to see Alice Cooper on his Welcome to My Nightmare tour. Years later, saw him and Rob Zombie on the Gruesome Twosome tour. That's badass. Chris Greenway saying let's be a simple kind of man. Yeah, yeah, just albums like that in the car. I mean, it's funny. It's funny to think about. You know what I mean? For me, having cassettes was kind of unique. Not a lot of people still ran them when I was a teenager, but I had them. I heard Greg saying Alice is going to be in my neck of the woods next weekend. I've never got to see him. I'm going to try to go. I can't believe he still performs. That dude's not young. He's Garage is saying I get asked on YouTube where I'm located. I don't answer because I know guys who post they're out of town. Guys that post they're out of town and get robbed. Oh, geez. If I got robbed, it would be the saddest thing in the world. I mean, it would be like nothing I have would bring anybody any purpose or use. They would try to sell it. It would probably end up like, yeah, no, it would be a sad thing. It would be its own curse. Cousin Abel saying, Ari, did you get anything out of Dee Dee's live the other day? I love their dynamic. They're a fun channel to follow. Yeah, I always enjoy watching them when I can. I don't catch a lot of their videos. Um, the live stream was early and it wasn't during anything else, so I popped in. Hubie said he was on it, so I'm like, all right, if Hubie's in there, it can't be that bad. I started to see everybody, so I'm like, I'm gonna start popping into DD's lives. Mopar Man saying two of my favorites by Skinner is Needle and the Spoon and That Smell. Both of those songs remind me of my dad, Mopar Man, especially Needle and the Spoon. Paint Namer saying Tuesday's gone. Yeah, I had that one stuck in my head today, Paint Namer. I was cruising the truck around down by the beach. Any boys talking about Jackson Brown? Oh, we're going to deep cuts now. QB Crowd just saying I gave all my old punk cassettes to my old roommate thinking I would replace with CDs, but never did. You'd be saying Zero would flip if he saw what I gave away. I'd probably flip if I saw what you gave away, man. I collect a lot of music, Hubie. I got cases and cases of records. I got cassettes and singles. What are you going to do, though, man? You can't hold on to that stuff forever. All of saying, yeah, a little of my stuff is of any real value to anyone else, except maybe someone with some other equally obscure people who also put out a lot of money and stuff. Yeah, I feel you there, all. Fire Greg saying, working for the MCA and call me the breeze. Yes. Kevin Clancy saying, "Give me back my bullets." Good Skinner song. Kevin, that whole album is great. It's got Every Mother's Son on there. Cry for the Bad Man. That song's a heater. Oh my god. Chris Greenway saying, "I always loved Last Kiss, cruising to the original Frank one. It's eerie at 2 a.m." BNR saying, "Good night, RN guys. Have a great week." BNR, have a great week, brother. Be safe, man. Enjoy the truck. Enjoy whatever you can. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate all the advice. I will make sure to check out Richard Holdner and yeah, check your fluids, man. I don't got to tell you. Mopar Man saying classic Charlie Daniels tunes. Mopar Man, No Place Left to Go, that old song. Or Greg saying, Give me back my bullets reminds me of my dad, one of his favorites. That's cool, Greg. The first time I heard that album was actually my friend's dad. I grew up with him. He's pretty much my pops. And we pulled his records out of the garage and we were listening to them. And we listened to that album. There you go. Caesar T Rex saying I had Freddie Fender and some beers today. That sounds badass, Caesar. Caesar, my buddy Ryan looks just like Freddie Fender, especially when his hair's long. They were at a show. I don't know if you know Big Sandy and the Fly Right Boys. They're kind of like a rockabilly rock and roll band. But they pointed my buddy Ryan out of the crowd and they're like, "Hey, Freddie Fender's here." And they sang before the next teardrop falls. And my buddy's all grumpy about it, like, "No, I'm not Freddie Fender." Any boy saying Freddie Fender's real name is Valdemar Huerta. I was saying, certainly with photo stuff, the valuable stuff looks much like all the cheap incidentals that came off eBay or something. Any boy saying Ballad of the Uneasy Rider. Unfinished Project saying, just woke up. Night, y'all. Unfinished. Have a great night, brother. Have a great week. Pet the kittens. Be safe out there, brother. Check your fluids. Hubie's Garage is saying DD's lives are pretty cool. He does them every other Saturday, 5:30 Pacific. He did an early one Saturday because he took Danny out for dinner later. Brian M saying I'm having fun working on my Clairtone stereo console. That's badass, Brian. Cousin Abel's, excuse me. Cousin Abel saying Primo Ari, that's for a great evening. My IPA fluids are low. I have them before I call it a night. Primo Ari, have a great night. Remember, if you say my truck doesn't leak fluids, does your truck have fluids? Cousin Abel, have a great night, brother. Thanks for stopping in. If you're in Newport again, man, text me, give me a call, see if I'm around. Be cool to meet up, man. Be safe out there. Dude. Check your fluids. All I'm saying, also, it's not rare stuff. It's old, not rare stuff, so only a value to a few. I feel you there, Olive. XJ David's out for the night. Thanks so much for stopping in, David. I'm really glad you got that 8 1/4 in there and that opinion issue is fixed. And that's cool to hear about that, man. Have a great week. Check your fluids. Any Boyd saying, I think that's what my parents' stereo was, Clairtone. Uneasy Rider is a favorite. Need to get mag wheels for my truck. All I'm saying, I used to pick up glitchy, nice stereo components up off the street and make them work. Nice. Kevin Clancy saying, Ari, much respect for you and your Skinner knowledge. Thanks, Kevin. I love that music, man. It's so good. I feel like on a social, on a musical scale, I feel like it really doesn't get enough credit for how ahead of its time it is. You know what I mean? I I don't know. I feel like a lot of that Southern stuff is kind of indispensable, especially just to American culture as a whole, and people don't give it enough credit. Well, poor man saying, "You guys know what hell is? It's sitting next to Bay City Rollers and wearing orange bell bottoms, listening to Andy Gibbs singing Shadow Dancing for Eons." Is that from Detroit Rock City? What poor man, or am I tripping? All I'm saying, people were just tossing great '70s stereo stuff on the street late last century. I had an audiophile speakers, used bent pigeon feathers to keep the woofers from dragging on bad foam. All of that's pretty much what I used for all of my records, and everything else was just old, really high end '70s stuff. Nice Pioneer, everything. UB Garage saying Southern Fried Rock and Roll. Yes, but yeah, I used vintage stereo equipment. The only thing that was new was the Shure stylus that I put on the turntable. I had a Techniques. Pirate Greg saying we had to do some work on that old 8 track. It was free, and my Nova has burned through 3 radios, modern ones. Hopefully, this one does the trick. I'm sure it will, Greg. The Nova was rejecting the new radios. I was like, no, this ain't good. This ain't what we want. Oh, poor man saying for comedian Dennis Leary. Dennis Leary is a genius. The best is in the chat. Welcome, the best. He's saying they play Freebird way too much. Yeah, that one's overplayed. Sweet Home Alabama's overplayed. Um, Give Me 3 Steps is a little overplayed too, but they've got such good songs, you know. Pirate Greg saying this ain't the Bay City Rollers, this ain't Journey, this is Kiss, man. I love Detroit Rock City. I've been thinking about that movie a bunch. Doobie's Garage saying Marantz, Kenwood, Techniques, a lot of good companies back in the day. Yeah, that was one of my favorite things was just I mean when I got my first apartment, I was 20 years old, and I didn't even have a TV for a long time. I had a record player. It was the first thing I set up in the apartment. So I'd listen to my records. That was how I chilled. And I eventually got a box TV, and I actually had a real VCR. I would watch a lot of At Zero's VHS collection. And that was how I entertained myself for years. And finally, I broke down. I got a flat screen, started streaming stuff. Caesar T Rex is out for the night. He's saying, good night, compas. Get your rest and be safe on the road. You too, Caesar. Thanks so much for stopping in, man. Real glad to have you. Hope you have a solid week. I'm sure it's pretty in Moreno Valley. Hope everybody stays out of your way on the road. And I know I don't have to tell you, man. Do your pre trip, check your flu. Have a good one, brother. Thank you. Olive saying, I got a nice-ish head unit for my Volvo, but it just won't trigger the factory amp, so I'll eventually rewire from scratch. Stereo wiring is something I've done just absolutely none of in a car. I mean, none. I've done no automotive audio stuff at all. Yubi's Garage is saying we have pop stations here that play crap. Oh wow, yeah, they do. Hubie, it used to be good, you know what I mean? K Earth used to play good oldies and Motown and everything else, and now it's just Mopar Man saying, I liked how the guy in Detroit Rock City had the same name as me, Jeremiah. Yes. That's right. The kid with the mom that freaks out. That intro scene is my favorite when she's like playing the organ, you know. She's got the glass of wine. The Kiss record starts playing. Kevin Glancy's saying, I might have to have Saturday Night Special as my favorite Skinner song, but of course, so many great ones. Saturday Night Special's great too. It's one of those ones, it's so catchy, but it's kind of a hard ass song. You know what I mean? Yubi's Garage is saying we have pop rock stations that play the crap out of Prince, Michael Jackson, and Queen. Yeah, you know, I can't lie, Hubie. I kind of, when Doves Cry, when that comes on, I'm just kidding. I'm saying Brian used to be good with that kind of stuff. Can hardly remember a damn thing about it to tell you though. Pirate Greg saying this old 8 track only gets maybe 6 stations. Pirate Greg saying together, together. that Pirate Greg said I've always been a Rick James guy myself. Yeah, Rick early. Oh man, there's some good cuts. The ones you don't hear too, just funky. Funky is all hell. One of the guys at work will play this like funk station, and it's just a solid mix. And oh my god, it's so rad to work to. It's just all this like super 80s funk synth and it's badass. The best is saying I have a pair of Serwin Vegas at -15 pumping most days. Burning my Sony receiver to the ground becomes of the ohms because of the ohms. I feel you. I'm saying some kind of portable Bluetooth speaker and the device of your choice may be as good as a factory radio. By the way, pirate. True, but it's not the same, Olive. It's not it's not like the car's not doing it. Fire Greg saying fire, king of punk funk. He was great saying somebody like those guys, but they play them so much you get sick of it. Yeah, they got that same song on rotation. John Marimba saying I still be digging on James Brown. Oh, John, yeah, a lot of James Brown at the shop. Fred Wesley and the JBs. I've done a couple shorts. That's how I introduce the live. When I say live and bad, it's from the JBs, live and bad. I love that stuff, man. TV's Garage saying I forgot about Sermo Vega. It's a good one. JBL too. Pirate Greg saying Mopar man. Yeah, I remember grinding my feet into Eddie Murphy's couch. What do the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap. God, that Dave Chappelle, Rick James, that's got to be like one of the funniest things of the last century, for sure. Or was that pre? No, that this century. It's got to be one of the funniest things this century. Oh my god, I laughed so hard. It's still to this day just the couch and the boots. Oh man. Chris Greenaway saying I love Steppenwolf, Magic Carpet Ride. Chris, that's my jam. I'm half Persian. Magic Carpet Ride. God, oh man, I laughed so hard. That whole season, and then just the dude dancing in the background. Like, oh my god, it was just so subtle and great. Chris Greenway saying mine too, but because I have an all cloth interior. Nice. I was saying Persian style carpets would rock in that Apache. All of that might be too far for me. I considered at one point doing the bench seat in like a Mondrian pattern just to piss people off. Charlie Murphy. Oh, rest. Oh, did we? We lost Charlie Murphy too. Rest in peace, Charlie. QB's Garage is talking about "Don't Fear the Cowbell." God, that was good old walking. Well, guys, it's getting a little bit late over here. I was going to go ahead and call it if it's all right with you. I know the first portion of the stream was interrupted very rudely, but I'm fading here. My voice is all scratchy. I'm starting to sound like Mike Ness. You guys know Orange County has junkies, pips, and winos too. Pirate Greg, my stream started buffering and it froze out on me, so I had to exit out of it. It was kind of funny. I was threatening to run this laptop over with my truck. All I was saying, back in the early '90s, there was this beige and white two-tone Apache. I was like, yeah, I could get Navajo blankets for the seats, and be full KD Langston. Oh, yes, go Southwestern. All of you, did you see my last video? Short. Oh, you like that one, Hubie? The best monologues. I remember when there used to be 3 people at this show. Danny Boyd saying, "Yeah, I'm about lived out. Been watching these since like 7. It's a quarter to 1 now. Damn, Dan, it's dedication. They're enjoyable though. I do the same thing. I'll sit in a live stream talking for a few hours. It's nice. I enjoy this stuff." Paint Namer saying, "But I didn't finish my coffee yet." Well, that's no good. I got to yap a little bit longer. I'll yap a little bit longer so Paint Namer can finish a coffee. All of it. The last one I did, I was sage smudging my engine. Do you know? Have you been in the chat the whole time? John Marimba saying the Magic Carpet Ride vamp has a bass lick that signals its end that makes a guy look prescient if he can catch it. Mexican Specs saying, Ari, has your wife told you to get real friends and not just online friends? She's too kind to say anything to me. You know, she pities me. No, you guys are great. It's kind of funny to think about that. You know, I've had the same friends since I was 9 years old and everything else. And then it's like, meet people on here that are badasses like Hubie, like all you guys, you know what I mean? But it's funny meeting folks online. I enjoy talking with everybody so much. Hubie's Garage is saying coffee. I just finished my dinner. No, not Volcano. I'd be eating there every day, Hubie. I mean, I would gladly pay you Tuesday for a Volcano burger today. Every day I would eat there. All I'm saying, I'll give me a good idea sometimes. Never know where something's been. Sage and something nice for the truck spirit. Yeah, Olive, I was trying to get it like to go through the carb, kind of like a sea foam, sage foam. Nate Mayfield saying, I'm back. Sorry, it's been a long week. My grandfather died in my arms a week ago. Just a lot going on. I'm really sorry to hear that, Nate. You know, that had to have been really, pretty tragic to deal with. But I'm sure at the very least, your grandfather was grateful for you being there. It kind of hurts to see people go, but being there for him is pretty much all we can do. I think so. I'm sorry to hear that. Um, I'm sure things will improve before too long, and I hope you're feeling all right, Nate. I appreciate you coming through. I'm sorry that happened. Dean says our thoughts are with you. Evie says sorry to hear that. Condolences from Olive. Hope our man says sorry to hear it. Rich GT350 is giving you some prayers. I appreciate you, Nate. Thanks for coming through, man. I know it's a lot to go through. Seeing folks go is it's tough. It's tough. All right, Greg saying sorry to hear that. It's never easy, and thank God he had you. Exactly. Thank God he had Nate. Yeah, it's tough seeing folks go. All right, I'm sending some thoughts and prayers. Impermanence, you know what I mean? It's kind of like an underlying theme to a lot of what we do with the classic cars. We talk about Americana, we talk about old music, antiques, and everything. A lot of what we talk about, kind of reeks of impermanence, and it's maybe something we don't acknowledge enough. But nothing's going to be here forever, and it's a tough one to chew through sometimes, isn't it? I didn't glitch out again, right? You guys are just not talking. Nate Mayfield is saying, "Got to enjoy it while we're here and leave a better place when we leave." That's the whole goal, isn't it? Just try to do right by people, make some good friends, enjoy some good times. That's it. Brian M saying, "I lost my dad in October." I'm sorry, Brian. That's got to be different. Kevin Clancy saying, "Great words." Well, I try, Kevin. I got to say something. You know what I mean? It's hard to speak on something that's so significant without sounding insincere. So I try to find something worth saying. Dean Stevenson, you're messing with the AI now. My brother keeps doing that. He's like make a blown glass sky with with a stained glass floor and the AI keeps making these crazy images. Actually really beautiful. It's kind of funny to think that they're AI. Oh, poor man's going to bed. But yeah, I'll go ahead and call it for the night, guys, if that's okay with you. It's getting a little bit late for me. I know I got work early, but I should be fine anyway. All I got to do is work on people's cars. I'd do that anyway. I'd be working on a car, even if I wasn't working. So, but yeah, guys, everybody, please have a please have a great week. Um, be safe out there. Enjoy yourselves. Be kind to people. Hope everybody stays out of your way. Nate, my deepest condolences about that. I'm real sorry, man. I'm real sorry that happened. Same thing, Brian. I know that's not easy to deal with. But, you guys be safe out there. Make sure to check your fluids. I'll leave it at that. Thanks for everything tonight, guys. I appreciate you. Check your fluids.